It is my sad duty to report that it is now very likely that Joe Biden will be inaugurated in January. I had hoped there would be some legal remedy, but the more I look into this, the more I review the information, it's just not going to happen, guys. Now, I know I have people typing already. Allow me the 15 minutes or so that this video is going to take to lay out why I believe this is the case. And you can have the rest of, well, basically forever, to type in the comment section why you think I'm wrong, but give me my moment to speak. There's an argument that's being missed, and there's really no way around it. And the only way to explain it logically is to go step by step. The first place we have to stop is here. You have a group that says count the legal votes, and then you have a group that says count every vote. I'm sure most of my audience falls into the first group, count all legal votes. In fact, this is what we hear over and over again from Trump's legal team. So the next logical question is, what is a legal vote? Here is where the problem comes in. Every state in the Union has a different standard for what a legal vote is, and it's perfectly constitutional. Here's the first example. When processing for absentee mail ballots begins. Okay, meaning that this is determining what a legal vote is by date. Mississippi has one standard, Alabama has another, Florida has another. Verifying authenticity of absentee mailed ballots. Once again, even across just red states, it varies on what a legal vote is, what an authentic vote is. Florida has one standard, Oklahoma has another, Alabama has another. Now, are all of these states unconstitutional, or are only the blue, or only the green, or only the tan? No. Every state has the ability to determine for itself what a legal ballot is. That is unfortunate in the case of Pennsylvania, but it is established law. Now, let me say, I agree with you when you say a lot of corruption exists in Pennsylvania, and in Michigan, and in Wisconsin, and in Minnesota. But those states have the established right to determine for themselves what a legal vote is. An outside entity cannot determine that. An outside entity cannot determine that. Why? Because then you would have to challenge all 50 states. The legality or the, standard by which they determined what a legal vote was. Here's another one. Permit voters to correct signature discrepancies on absentee mail ballots. We have one group of states with one standard and another group of states with another standard. Here's an article that I'll give you. You can read how to vote by mail works in all 50 states. And it changes virtually state by state by state. Alabama has one standard. Arizona has another standard. California yet another. Delaware yet another. All constitutional. Now, let me say again, I agree. I'm sure there was a great deal of what most reasonable people would call fraud in Pennsylvania. There was a great deal of fraud by what most reasonable people would believe fraud to be. However, it is only up to the people of Pennsylvania to determine that. And there's no way around that, because the only legal remedy would be to toss out the entire election in Pennsylvania, which the federal government has no authority to do, 10th Amendment. The federal government has no authority to tell any state, Florida, Texas, California, Michigan, Pennsylvania, what standard it uses to determine what a legal vote is, or how it determines its electors and who it sends to the Electoral College. It's an unfortunate thing to have to report. I'm sorry. I don't get any joy out of it. But this is the legal argument they will never be able to get over. They talk about all of their proof. The proof of this, the proof of that, the proof of the other. If the state of Pennsylvania said those were legal votes on election day, that overrides everything. Because it was up to the standard to determine what is a legal vote. Number one, is not a national standard. Is not a national standard. It is a standard. That's why I use this map, all of the different colors. That is determined by the state. This is what his legal team is never going to be able to prove. They can show what they believe to be evidence of fraud, but it will simply just be that, their standard. Their standard. And I'm saying, well, what's the legal definition of fraud? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter retroactively. This woman in front said something that made me think about this for a minute. And Kayleigh McEnany has actually echoed this idea. That they said, this isn't really about overturning an election. This is about election integrity across the United States. Then why aren't they challenging the results in all of the states? Why aren't they challenging the results in Florida? Why aren't they challenging the results everywhere else? You see all of these voting machine this, Hammer and scorecard that, Dominion, all this stuff, Sequoia, all that occurred in other states where Trump won. That occurred in other states where Trump won. This is a problem. And even our Supreme Court will have to see this. Because this is the bar they have to get over. Levels of proof. See, what is proof? They say they have proof. We have proof. We have evidence. They need to get beyond a reasonable doubt. When you're alleging a crime of this magnitude, you have to get beyond a reasonable doubt. And guys, there's all sorts of reasonable doubt that can be introduced. And the burden of proof is on them. It's not on the state of Pennsylvania to prove they had a free and fair election. This is where a lot of people get confused. It is not, the burden of proof is not on the state of Pennsylvania to prove they had a free and fair election. The burden of proof is on Trump's legal team. And I've watched all the videos you have. I have heard all of the statements you've had. I have listened and I have re-listened. Every argument you could make for they have this, they have that, they have the other, I've heard. And look, if it were me, I'd say, yeah, that's probably pretty good evidence of fraud. I would agree with you. But the problem is it isn't up to me. It isn't up to you. It isn't up to a legal team. And even the lawyer for Trump said so. It isn't up to the media. It's up to a judge. But unfortunately, a judge is going to say, determining what a legal vote is in the state of Pennsylvania is up to the state of Pennsylvania. And they applied their standard, as corrupt as it may be, as foul as it may be, as flawed as it may be. This is the case. And I'm sorry that this is the result. I'm not happy to report it. brought up a couple of articles here to kind of reinforce this. See, there are conservatives in these blue states that are flipping out. Part of me wonders if all of these people flipping out in these blue states are really conservatives, or if they're just liberals that are just having that wake-up moment. This is a gym owner. Got 50 people, 50 business owners together in his gym, and when the sheriff came to say, hey, you can't be here because of COVID restrictions, they told the sheriff to go get a warrant. Okay, the sheriff probably didn't want to have to go get a warrant, but he's probably going to go get a warrant. Congratulations, New York. Huntington Beach, California, same thing. All of a sudden, when their liberal ideologies result in tyranny, it's the end of the world. It's just going to be something I think people are going to have to accept. I'm not excited about it. I'm not happy about it. But it's just going to be. And to any liberal out there who thinks this is some moment of rejoicing, congratulations. And you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of you out there that probably think, it would have been better to just let Trump have 4 more years and then put somebody in we could actually get behind. Because you know what's coming with Joe Biden. He's already foreshadowing it. He's already foreshadowing it. And you're going to get to own it. You're going to get to own it. So, be careful what you wish for. You just might get it. Like, share, subscribe.